Yo, what's good everyone? We're all getting a free copy of Aino, and while I don't think she's one of the better 4 stars in the game, I don't think she's as bad as people are saying. I'm doing a welcome giveaway in my Discord. If you're not in there, punch yourself in the face. Let's get straight into it. What does Aino do and how do we play her? So her skill is actually one of the best skills in the game. Just kidding, it's as useless as a chocolate kettle. It zips towards the enemy, applying hydro, and deals pathetic damage. You just use it before you burst to generate some particles. Her burst applies off-field hydro in an AoE, also dealing pathetic damage. If you have another Nodcry unit in the team, she'll apply more hydro and in a bigger AoE. With her being a 4 star, let's look at the Constellations. Her C1 increases the elemental mastery of her and the on-fielder by 80 after using her skill or burst. C2 gives her a little more hydro application with a burst. C3 and C5 increase her burst and skill levels by 3. C4 gives her 10 energy after her skill hits an enemy. C6 gives the on-fielder 15% Bloom, Electro Charge, Lunar Bloom or Lunar Charge damage, and another 20% if there's another Nodcry unit in the team. With all this considered, what's she actually good for? Her being a Nodcry unit is good for increasing your moon sign level. Basically, any team with a Nodcry unit now has a moon sign level. If there's 1 Nodcry unit in the team, your team will be moon sign level 1, Nascent Gleam. If there are 2 or more, your team will be moon sign level 2, Ascendant Gleam. There are a bunch of different requirements in artifact sets and character kits that provide more benefits if the team's moon sign is level 2, so Aino being a Nodcry unit is useful. Her C1's also good for teams where the on-fielder wants elemental mastery. Her C6 is good for buffing some lunar reactions. Arguably the biggest thing she has going for her though is that her burst is on a 13.5 second cooldown. For characters like Flynn's who have shorter field time and rotations, going with Aino for the shorter cooldown is better than going with Xingqiu, who would have been better had it not been for his 20-second cooldown. If we keep getting Nodcry units with shorter rotations, Aino's value will keep going up. TLDR of her stats, she wants elemental mastery and energy recharge. If you go Elemental Mastery Sands, Goblets and Circlet, just go for energy recharge in the substats. We'll go over artifacts quickly. The new support set, Serenade, gives 20% energy recharge from the 2-piece and elemental mastery to the whole team from the 4-piece. Remember the moonsign level we talked about earlier? If the team is moonsign level 1, so 1 Nodcry character, the team gets 60 elemental mastery. Moonsign level 2, so at least 2 Nodcry characters, the team gets 120 elemental mastery. Also, the 4-piece gives the team 10% lunar reaction damage, and they'll get another 10% if someone in the team is holding the other new set. In teams where there's already a Serenade holder, give a 4-piece Instructor when the team wants elemental mastery, 4-piece Noblesse when they want attack. For weapons, I recommend one of 3. If other members of the team need energy, I say go for Vonia's Greatsword. If they don't, give her the 5.8 Event Claim or Flameforged Insight. It gives her 165 elemental mastery from the secondary stat. The passive gives her 24 energy and another 120 elemental mastery when she triggers Electro Charged, Lunar Charged Bloom or Lunar Bloom, which can be triggered once every 15 seconds. If you didn't get the event claimer, give her the Nodcry Craftable Master Key. It gives 61 energy recharge from the secondary stat. The passive gives 240 elemental mastery in Moonsign level 2 when she triggers a reaction. Onto teams, so you can see where you can actually use her. She shares a banner with Flynn, so we'll start with him. He's a Lunar Charge DPS. Aino applies Hydro for him while also buffing his elemental mastery and Lunar Charge damage if you have a Constellations. With the timing on Flynn's skill cooldown, you want to run a team with a shorter rotation time. Even though Aino isn't as good as someone like Xingqiu, his burst cooldown is 20 seconds while Aino's is 13.5. Basically, the team won't deal as much damage during the parts where you're attacking with Flynn's, having Aino instead of Xingqiu, but you can switch back to Flynn's quicker so it ends up better. Sucrose is one of the biggest beneficiaries of 6.0 because you can play her with all the new units. Once Kazuha came out in 1.6, she was relegated to a lesser used role and sometimes even just the bench. Kazuha's elemental damage buff is usually better than Sucrose's elemental mastery buff, but with Lunar Charge not needing elemental damage and instead wanting elemental mastery, Sucrose is better in Flynn's teams. Ineffort will be the best in slot sustain for an extra source of damage, a shield for sustainability, Electro Resonance for extra energy, the elemental mastery buff from a passive, and she provides us with another Nodcry character to take the moonsign level higher. This team's already moonsign level 2, but if you do replace Aino in the future, it'll stay at 2 with Ineffort. So Bloom hasn't been meta for a while, but Lauma said let's do something about that. Get it? Nilou seems to get new units to synergize with fairly frequently. I know she wasn't a good DPS when she launched, but now with Shallonen and Farina in a mono Hydro team, a Scoffia and Seatlally in a Freeze team, and a Nefer in Lunar Charge team, she does the business even though she's not S tier. She excels as a Bloom support though, and Nodcry's bringing Bloom back in a different font. Literally, in the form of Lunar Bloom with Lauma. People have been begging for a free-to-play HP sword for Nilou since 3.1 and the devs are finally giving people what they want. The Nodcry craftable, Serenity's Call, gives 61 energy recharge from the secondary stats, but also up to 64% HP from the passive. For those that don't have either of the only 2 HP swords currently in the game, that's going to be big for your Nilou. Let's assume you're a free-to-play, you grab Lauma, and now you're looking for a budget team. Yao Yao is another character getting some love this patch. To be honest, I think she's a really sweet character and it's nice to see her when she makes an appearance at Lanternrite. Unfortunately, she doesn't get much play in people's teams, but I think that's going to change in Nodcry. Bloom was already one of the best uses, but the introduction of Lunar Bloom takes it up a level. Assuming you're running Lauma on Deepwood and Aino on Serenade, with Xingqiu off field holding Flower of Lost Paradise, Yao Yao can hold 4-piece Instructor and drive the team with Favonius Lance. I know everyone's been riding Mawika for what seems like forever, just like Mawika rode a motorbike in my story animation, but I'll always prefer Arlecchino. It's nice to see her get a new character in Aino, and it's a big win for those that don't have C6 Candice. Basically, the value C6 Candice has over other Hydro units in Arlecchino teams is she can apply Hydro quickly in an AoE. Aino can do that, and quickly enough to not struggle keeping up with Inefe's Electro application. The team would be Arlecchino, Aino, Inefe, Bennett. Arlecchino's gonna get a bunch of vapes and overloadeds off. Aino's C1 also gives Arlecchino some elemental mastery, which is a stat we shouldn't neglect on our Arlecchinos, but the reality is, most of us do in favour of crit. Aino makes that decision less punishing while also holding Instructor for another 120 elemental mastery. This team actually has me hyped up for Columbina because people are speculating she might replace Aino in Nodcry teams. I really want Arlecchino and Columbina to have synergy, and I know I'm not the only one, so Nodcry is looking like a big one for us Arlecchino fans. Another thing I'm looking forward to seeing with Aino is meme teams where people try and reap the benefits of a short cooldown with some low-cost burst characters. Maybe we'll even get some more throughout Nodcry. Overall, it would have been nice if she was a little better, maybe even have some damage in there, but I don't think she's as bad as people are saying. The first 3-4 star of each region is usually underwhelming, so it's nice she'll actually have some use cases. I imagine she'll get power creds, but she'll always be an option for Imaginarium Theatre. I think people forget they're adding a new difficulty in Nodcry that requires more characters, so having a free one that's useful, even if not meta, is appreciated. I put out Flynn's and Lauma guides already, and during the week I'll be revisiting the standard 5 stars that you could choose for your anniversary gift. Just a reminder to join the Welkin giveaway in my Discord if you're interested, and take it easy.